We're going live.
No. We'll do it live.
Okay.
This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
What's up, guys? How's my audio today? I can't hear myself when I talk, so I don't know when the mic is coming across as lousy, right? And all you mofos Wednesday, let me do an entire episode with the wrong mic selected. What gives, man? What gives? I thought we were friends. Thought we were cool like that. I had people pinging me afterwards like, hey, great show, but your mic was off, man. Your mic was off. I was like, you were in the chat, you bastard. Like, why did you say anything? Man, and some guys just figured it was their speaker, you know, and I guess that makes sense. But still, it's my fault. You know, I'm the one that selected the wrong mic at the end of the day. And that, my friends, is what we call holding yourself accountable. Okay, it's my fault. Anyway, we're not here to talk about audio. We're here to talk about red flags. But seriously, in the comments, if my audio is all jacked up, let me know. Let me know. You guys on TikTok, you're using the phone audio, so that doesn't count. Smash that like button, then head on over to YouTube. All this will make sense. Anyway, right. So I already did a stream on red flags a few months back now, but it's, you know, it's always a fun topic. It's fun pointing out all the broken and damaged women out there, right? Whee! Because that's what red pill is, guys. That's it's about making fun of broken women, right? That's that's not what it's about, but still, it's still fun to do. All right, seriously though, I highly recommend that men sit down, write out what they want, like a list of qualities that they actually want in women. Literally sit down, write it out, and focus on that list. Okay, review it multiple times per day because we get what we focus on in life, and if we focus on the red flags, we're really focusing on what we don't want, and more of what we don't want will tend to show up for us. All right. It's the law of attraction. If you want to learn more about that, check out my practical law of attraction course. Where's that at? Right here. Check out the practical law of attraction course. But for today, just know that it's important to focus on what you want, and knowing what you want will naturally give you things you won't tolerate. Right? It'll actually give you ideas of things you won't tolerate because you'll know if a girl's meeting those qualities that you want or not. Right? And usually the opposite of what you want tends to be our yellow flags and red flags. Right? Makes sense? Okay. That being said, I have a guest today, my man Eric from Eric Explains on TikTok. He's backstage. And before I bring him on to compare lists, let's start off with our basic housekeeping here. Let me fix this before we go too far. Okay. If you guys haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications, right? I go live every Wednesday and Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you can't make it, that's what the replays are for. Drop a comment. Any comment will do. If you guys are in the live chat right now, if you guys are on TikTok and you want to participate, head on over to YouTube. The link's in my bio. And when you actually sound off in the live chat on YouTube, we can actually bring it up on the screen. You're actually a part of the show. So please do that and it'll make more sense. And I'm mostly going to be paying attention to that. So if you don't want to feel ignored, come on over to YouTube. And then if you're watching on the replay, drop a comment below. You know, all that kind of stuff helps in the algorithm. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. If you guys are watching live right now, super chats actually really do support the show, probably more than anything else. So you can send one for as little as $1, or, you know, you can send a super sticker if you want to. Get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com. That way, if I ever get banned from social media, my first TikTok account got banned. My second, my Come On Man Pod TikTok account is totally shadow banned right now. I still post to it, but you know, it only gets like, you know, double-digit views, maybe a couple hundred views, maybe. But so anyway, this way I can let you know if I ever get banned or if I create a new account or whatever. And then I'll send you some free stickers for your trouble. And if you like those designs, they're also available on merch as well at merch.comeonmanpod.com. Yesterday, I had a guy on one of my TikTok videos ask if I had Rule Zero merch or where he could find Rule Zero merch. I have Rule Zero merch in the merch store at merch.comeonmanpod.com. I already mentioned my Practical Law of Attraction course, LOA.comeonmanpod.com. It's a mindset course. It's chick crack free. I got rid of all the chakras and crystals and, woo-woo, genie, granting wishes stuff. And it's all just psychology-based, mindset stuff. So check that out. I was giving coupon codes away all last month. That's done. You missed out. And then get on the Patreon, patreon.com/comeonmanpod.com. You can join for as little as $10. I'm going to start hosting monthly meetups. So if you join tier 1 for only $10, we're going to start doing monthly virtual hangouts. I'm calling them happy hour hangout, right? Triple H, happy hour hangout monthly. The first one's June 22nd. So if you haven't joined the Patreon yet, join the Patreon. I'll play a commercial for that. And then we will bring Eric up and we'll start talking about these whamming. Are you tired of holding back your thoughts and opinions? Ready to let loose with like-minded men? Introducing the ultimate monthly video-based happy hour for men. Join us for an exclusive unfiltered experience where you can talk about women, cars, movies, and anything else on your mind. Best of all, it's not recorded and there's no censorship. You can freely speak your mind without any worries. All you have to do is join my Patreon at tier number 1, and you'll gain access to this one-of-a-kind gathering. Visit patreon.com/comeonmanpod. That's patreon.com/comeonmanpod. Or click the link in the description. It's like the good old days when men would get together and talk about man stuff without being bothered by women. Sometimes guys just need a good group of men to hang out with. It's good for our mental health. Don't miss out on the camaraderie and conversation. Join us today and let your voice be heard. Visit my Patreon page and sign up now. Cheers to freedom of speech and great company. Okay, yes, now joining me today, finally, he's like, man, when is this guy going to get to the goddamn point? It's Eric, TikTok superstar. Eric Explains. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, thanks for having me on. It's been a minute. I've been kind of quiet, but I am back and I'm ready to roll. So let's do this.
He's back. He's bad.
Look, I got my red flags right here.
Dude, you've got literal red flags. Are we we're not at the 8-minute mark yet. Hey, Nathan, I'll bring up your super chat here in a minute. Dude, what happened with that? What happened with the you went on like a little bit of a hiatus, your account went away. Like your I don't think your Instagram is there anymore. I think, did you just delete that or?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. So one of the things that I've always tried to do is keep this account separate from like my personal socials. And I think there might have been a little bit of like leakage. So I kind of did a little bit of damage control, and I'm not really sure which direction I'm going to go going forward. It's kind of annoying. Like you were saying, like there gets to be a certain point where someone has the privilege of being able to speak their mind and not have to worry about it affecting them in any kind of negative way. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I worry about. So like, if you look at my TikTok, I took down a lot of the dating advice kind of stuff. But if I'm doing something like this, that's in a space like you have, like I'm totally cool with like totally being honest and unfiltered and stuff. But the content that I put on my channel is probably going to be a little bit different. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, yeah, man. And that cancel culture is real. Say anything that is mildly unflattering to women and they immediately want to take you down. I like calling them the whammon. It's just
all right.
To do. Hey, do me a favor. Try to get as centered in the frame as much as possible, because I'm going to be clipping these for the
I'm centered now.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's actually good. That'll be good. All right, so let's talk about red flags, man. So I made a pretty big list. We don't have to go through all of these, but let's talk about some of these, man. Let's start with you. You have a list. You said that your girlfriend came up with a list of things too, right? Did she help?
Yeah, she was rattling a bunch of stuff off. Like she hit upon some really interesting ones that I didn't even think of. Like if you're thinking about just like straight up red flags, she mentioned if a girl has kids but not custody of them. I was like, dang, that's
a good one.
That's wow, that's solid.
Yeah, because it's
rap, she's talked about all kinds of stuff, but it's interesting because like when I think about red flags, the number one thing that I see with my friends and the experience that I've had is the biggest problem that guys have with red flags is they don't see them, or they see them but they don't care about them, because the red flag is actually in themselves. It's like they're lonely or they're desperate, and then the first girl that comes along that shows them attention, because most guys are invisible, which is the reason why there are podcasts like this and spaces for men to talk. The first girl that comes along and shows them any kind of attention, doesn't even matter if she has red flags. And even if she does, they can be kind of like a good thing. It's like, oh, other people might not want her as much because of this one unflattering thing. Therefore, I can have her all to myself.
Right. Or they think they could fix her. You know, they think that they could fix her. You know,
right,
like the
exactly.
Captain Sabahos.
That's never gonna work.
Yeah, you can't save them. Can't save them, guys. Let's take care of the super chat. So my man Nathan here sent a super chat. Guys, send super chats. Let's bring this up here. And my man gets this today. He gets.
I was just gonna say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
Yes, this guy fucks. Thank you for that, man. That actually helps support the show. Yeah, so I like that one. The one if she has kids, but she doesn't have custody of kids.
Yeah.
Dude, that's you. Well, what some guys would say, well, if she has kids in the first place, you know, the whole single mom thing, like, single moms, you know. Have you read Richard Cooper's Unplugged Alpha?
I have not, no.
Okay, yeah, he's got a chapter on 20 red flags, right? And there's stuff like tattoos and if they're a single mom and blah blah blah. And then the very next chapter is an entire chapter dedicated on why you shouldn't date single moms. It's like, I get it, bro. I get it. You got burned by a single mom, not a big fan. I got you, you know. But yeah, if you don't really mind the whole single mom thing, like I don't care. I'm a single dad, so I don't care. But yeah, if she's got kids herself and doesn't have custody of them, you got to question that because courts usually favor moms quite a bit. And she must be a terrible person if she doesn't have if she doesn't at least have 50-50, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That is a big one, dude. All right. So I put down here just sort of half joking last night, but I just put if she's fat. If she's fat, there's a huge red flag, guys, because you know why? She just doesn't take care of her health. You know what I mean? And it's only going to get worse from there. You know, like usually if you get a thin chick, like they get fat later. If you get a fat one out the gate, man, she's just going to get bigger. She's going to get bigger.
Yes. All right. So building on that.
Yes.
There we go.
Drives
I think
it
also the best way, like obviously everyone's going to have their own red flags, but if you're if you're not seeing any red flags in a girl and you want like a really good examination of this girl, your friends are going to be the biggest like lens, especially if you have female friends too. If you have a female friend and she meets a girl that you're like considering dating, she will be the most unfiltered you've ever heard her be when she goes off on criticizing this girl. She'll criticize like everything from like the way that she does her hair to like the style of clothing that she buys and what that might mean. So, and
do you think that might just be like? Do you think that might just be like her being jealous though? Like, you know,
it could be, but if she's bringing up something legitimate, she will make a good case that will hopefully convince you that she's right. Is what I think.
What is good about that is most of the time it's almost like it's a objective, you know, like they're like, hey, I'm looking at this from an outside perspective. You're probably not seeing this because you're all Twitter pated right now, but she's trash, right? Like it could be helpful.
Absolutely. So the other thing is there's a dual mating strategy with guys, just like there is with women. Men are a little bit more honest about it. Women are a little bit more covert about it. But there's definitely like times when I've been on dates and you guys have been on dates, and it's like, I see this girl more as just like a friend with benefits, or I see this girl as an actual relationship. If it's a friends with benefits kind of thing, red flags typically aren't too much of a problem because you can keep her at an arm's length. But when we're talking about relationships, I got a list. And I'm going to start right off with what I think is the biggest red flag that often gets overlooked by guys. But the one thing that I think, if you're considering a girl for a relationship, pay very close attention to the way that she talks about her exes, how much she talks about her exes, and what light she paints them in. If she's had more than one ex and all of the breakups have all been their fault because all of her exes were crazy or all of her exes were narcissistic or all of her exes were whatever, that means you're about to be the next narcissist that she dates.
That's right. She only attracts narcissists, man. That must mean that you're a narcissist.
Exactly. So like it either means that she's just bad at picking people because she picks people who are always fucking her over, or it means that she just paints everyone in a bad picture when she gets mad at them or whatever. So like if she can accept some responsibility for all of her relationships that she's been in before or situationships or whatever, that's a very good sign. But typically you see situations where all their exes were crazy. That's a very big red flag if you're considering a relationship. So that's the one that I would say, like, as far as like a specific red flag, biggest problem, steer clear of that.
Yeah. On the flip side, guys, one thing that I recommend to guys is don't talk about your past relationships as much as possible. Like if you're on a date, there's no reason to bring that crap up, you know? And if you have to, like if she's really pressing you, put a positive spin on it. Put a positive spin on it, man. You know, but it's best to just steer clear of that conversation, you know, like it's just not a good idea. A lot of guys will go on date. This is why guys fail a lot. They'll go out the dating circuit. They just went through a bad breakup and they just dump their baggage on these chicks. Like, dude, you are going to come across so negative and nobody wants to be around a negative person. I don't care what anybody.
Absolutely.
So terrible idea. All right. The next one I have here, it goes hand in hand with the first one, but if she smokes, to me, that's a major red flag, you know, because I'm looking for someone that complements my lifestyle. Right. And I like to run. I like to do like races and stuff like that. I like to work out and I sometimes like to eat right. but someone that is a smoker just does not take their health seriously. If you do get into a long-term committed relationship, I mean, like let's say even marriage, right? Can you even say the M word in the red pill space? You know, but if you do decide to get married to this person, I mean, you're looking at probably taking care of this person. They're going to be walking around with an oxygen tank later in life. Like it's just bad. You know, I was at a barbecue this last weekend. My daughter graduated from college. We were at my ex-wife's house. My ex-wife and I actually still get along, guys. It's okay. And we were over there and my aunt, who's like, man, in her 80s or something like that. She's sitting there with her oxygen tank. Cause she was a smoker like my whole life, you know, sitting there with her oxygen tank. Do you want to take care of that? Do you want to be dealing with that kind of crap later in life? No, I'd much rather be with a healthy person. So to me, that's a major red flag. All these are subjective, by the way, guys. Like if you're a smoker, you might not care. Right. But all right, man, what you have some good ones so far. I'm actually getting
red flag number 2. So the other thing that's really important to look at is the friends that she has. So a big red flag would be a girl that doesn't have any female friends because all her female friends that she's had were drama queens or they couldn't trust or they lied or whatever. What she says about female friends is often she's the problem because this is the way that it's gone in her life. So like typically if you're looking for a long-term relationship with a female, it's good if she has a strong female friend that she's been friends with for at least a few years and she's able to get and maintain friendships. There are some girls out there where all their friends are guys. That's a red flag. Not because it's necessarily bad to have guy friends. It really depends on what you mean by friend, but she should have strong female friends as well that she can, you know, do that kind of stuff. One of the things that happens if a girl doesn't have like any strong friends, women like to talk a lot and they like to talk about nonsense. They like to gossip. They like to bullshit, whatever. Kind of just like guys like to talk about cars and things and whatever. And it's important, like if you're in a relationship with someone, she's got to have those female friends that she can just vent to and talk about the crazy people at work and talk about how maybe her family's being crazy or whatever, because like you're going to get sick of that because as a guy, it's like, I don't really like listening to that. I can take a little bit of it here and there, but it's way better, you know, if she just goes and has a girls' night every so often, like once a month or whatever, and just gets to like talk shit about all the people that are bothering her at work, because she's going to get way more out of that talking with the ladies than she is with me. I'm just going to be like, whatever. So it's important that she has like strong friends, especially strong female friends if we're talking about women. That's a huge one for me.
Yeah, no, that's actually good that you bring that up because man, you're describing my ex-wife pretty good here. My ex-wife, I'm
describing my ex-wife too. So here we go.
Well, my ex-wife, I'll say this about her, right? She's a people person. Typically, you know, she's very social. She's really good at making new friends. She is awful at keeping friends because my ex-wife is very manipulative and people like she's very fake. She comes across as not genuine a lot. And so she really tends to turn people off eventually, and she starts using people. And people get sick of that after a while. And so she loses friends all the time. And then all of her friends are crazy. Like all my friends are the crazy ones, But so she's always constantly have to make new friends. It's kind of an interesting dynamic that I totally overlooked, because like, who cares, right? And then what you were saying about friends, man, guys need to have a good group of friends. Guys need to have a good group of friends too, and most guys don't. Most guys lean on their girl. They have no friends outside the relationship, and they just dump all their baggage on their girl, and that will make her lose attraction over time. I don't care what anybody says, like women just don't care about your problems, like they think they care, and I think they actually want to care, but biology just won't let them care. So find a good group of dudes, dump that kind of crap on, and then actually have fun with your girl, and then vice versa. Like you were saying, like if she has a good group of girlfriends she can go to with that kind of stuff, then she can just have fun with you, and keep the relationship good. That's what I think. We got a couple of guys here too. Let's see here. Nathan says, how does she talk about her dad?
There you go.
That's a good one. This guy, the plumber speak, says, if her female friends are divorced, you soon will be too, right? Crabs in a bucket. Or what do you say? She has all single friends. That's, they all, it's like they all want to be single together, right? Girl power. You just fight by, do you know who Rudy is? Rudy A. He has the Rude Advice podcast. He's a big TikToker. He's a friend of mine. He's kind of more of a blue pill guy, I would say. And that's not a negative connotation. It's just that, he still believes in some of the old world stuff. And he and I have conversations every once in a while. I was just on a live stream with him on Tuesday, but he put out a tweet on, I think it was like last night, saying like 5 red flags in women. And one of them was she's got a flower tattoo on her arm, and she's a nurse. and she has friends with like, fire department guys and police and police officers and stuff like that. It was a pretty funny list. The thing is like, my girlfriend is a nurse, and she does have tattoos, and she's got a big old flower on her arm. In fact, she does a full sleeve. So I'm just like, God damn it, dude. Like, why are you calling out my girlfriend like that? And he goes, I said what I said.
That's funny.
Okay. So next one on my list, and this is really a personal preference, man. And I got to know what you think about this, but if she has a septum piercing, that is a huge red flag for me, man. Like, and like a lot of guys, they get mad about the tattoo stuff. I don't care about tattoos, but the goddamn septum piercing is
that the nose?
It's the one in the middle. Like, I don't even mind the nostril piercing. That's kind of cute, maybe, unless they're like, if they're getting up in age, right? Like I when I was out dating, I would see these chicks out there that were in their late 30s, maybe even early 40s, that had the septum piercing, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yes, why
are you doing that? Act your age, bitch. I said that in my inner voice. But yeah, just the septum piercing in general is just so gross and disgusting to me. It tells me that she probably makes bad choices. She clearly doesn't know what like good fashion is. That's right. That's a big red flag to me.
It just also makes the conversation about what she's looking for so awkward if she's listing off these things about a responsible person and like that he has his shit together and everything. And it's like, this is not congruent right now. Like, what's going on here? Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. But it's funny, like so far, like a lot of my stuff has been superficial and yours is like really deep, but that's why I like having you on here, man. So, all right.
All right. Here's my next really deep one. So certain statements that I've heard that just immediately when I hear this statement, I'm just like, okay, all right. So this is friend with benefits only, not going to consider for a relationship. People are fake, or I hate drama. Okay. Just like, blanket statements that people will make, like, especially on a first date, she's like, oh man, people are so fake. It's like, okay, so the people in your life that you've chosen to hang around with, you see as fake, yet you continue to choose to hang around them. Or like, I hate drama. Anyone who says I hate drama, they're always the common denominator and always the ones that are causing it. Yeah. I translate I hate drama to I love drama until it's about me, and then I pretend I never wanted it in the first place. Because if you start drama, there's a very short return time before it turns around and comes on you. So those two statements, like if I hear those, it's just like, nope. So,
you're still describing my ex-wife. It's like, do you know her? Do you know her, man? No. But the thing about drama too, for women that say, "Oh, I hate drama. I hate drama." It's like if you guys study women at all, you know that women need drama. If they don't have it in their life, they'll create it. You know what I mean? So it's like you need to be that dopamine drug dealer for her. You need to create the little bit of drama for her so that she just feels satisfied. You know what I mean? And it could be harmless drama, but you need to be the one that does that. That way that stays out of you keep a little bit of control on that. Yeah, Caudillo here says long periods of being single.
okay.
That's a red flag for him. All right.
Okay.
I hear that. God, dude, a lot of mine here, the first 4 anyway, are pretty superficial, but we're having fun with this. So I said, if she's got purple, blue, or other colored hair, she's going to be an insufferable feminist. She's just going to be absolutely insufferable. Now, one thing, my friend here, Caudillo, he's a good dude. One thing, he has this really long viral tweet of all the things that he learned when he was aggressively dating in the Dallas area. And one of the things that he said is that, politics don't matter because, frame will fix the politics stuff. And I agree with that to an extent, but dude, is it worth the hassle sometimes? Some of these chicks with the blue hair and the septum piercings, it's like, man, I just don't want to deal with that. I don't have time for that. And so to me, like, that would just be an immediate nope. But you know what? Another friend, a mutual friend of Nuke's and mine is Jack Napier. Jack Napier says that red flags are a green light. You know what I mean? Like, so all the things I mentioned here, like smoking. Another mutual friend is a guy named Rob Says, and he says if she smokes, she pokes, man. So it's like. So, some of these, like you said, are more like, friends with benefits type situations. Like, okay, there's no way I could do anything serious with this person, but I'd hit it,
Yeah. The one thing that I heard was that nature has a way of indicating when something is toxic or something is dangerous, and bright neon colors is one of those things. Like if you look at frogs that are poisonous, they're usually very bright colored, whereas like harmless frogs are just a camouflage green kind of a thing. And it's like women understand nature and that's why they do that. But yeah, the neon hair, that one rings true with me. I had about 1 year into my single life, I had a little bit of a debacle where I spent way too much time with one specific person that had neon hair, and it ended up coming back to bite me because I caught feels and I knew there was red flags, and I ended up kind of having to self-sabotage, but gave me a lot of content for my music career. So we got that going, which is nice.
You know what? That works for Adele. She she goes through a breakup and then just has a major banger of a record. So
exactly,
sometimes
right. Yeah.
Sometimes it's
you got to turn the bad things to good.
All right. Yeah. What's your? We got a couple one here. She can't hold a job. She can't hold.
Oh man, you stole. That was one of mine. Gosh.
Oh. Okay. Maybe we'll talk about that one. Let's talk about that one.
I mean, so that's huge. Like they say that men don't care about what a woman's career is. And I think that that's definitely true if you juxtapose it to like what women care about men. But I think if you're considering someone for a relationship, it's important that she understands commitment and she's able to hold a job and she's able to get a job and maybe get a promotion or two. If she's over the age of 25, she should have been able to get promoted at some level. She's not just bouncing around from restaurant to restaurant, waiting tables kind of a thing. That's kind of important. And then on top of that, like, how responsible she is with money. Like, has she accumulated things that show that she has a passion, or is she just kind of like spending all of her disposable income on drinks and going out and stuff like that? Can tell you a lot about someone, but you will typically see that like red flags tend to congregate together. And so typically when you see a lot of red flags, one of those red flags is, can't hold a job. Mm-hmm. So that's a huge one. That is on my list. So definitely.
It's funny about that too, because a lot of guys in the, I'd say like the black pill and MGTOW space, which is funny because they all hate women. And it's like, you're not getting married anyway. So why are you bitching about this? But a lot of these guys are like, oh, she's not wife material unless she wants to be a stay-at-home mom and take care of the kids. Well, I had that, That was my ex-wife, but my ex-wife was really just looking for early retirement. You know what I mean? She was just looking for early retirement. And so to me, although like that would be the ideal to go back to the 1950s, is unrealistic in this day and age, I think. And, women that like, to me, that's a red flag. A woman that wants to just be a stay-at-home wife. It's like, you just want to use me for my money, you know what I mean? So to me, like a girl that has a good job is a green flag. And one, especially too, like I watched a talk, I talked about Rich Cooper before. I watched a talk from back in the, before the shitstorm and they were still doing 21 conventions. Rich did a talk at the 21 convention, and he said that, if you look at the pay gap between men and women, which if you want to really minimize your risk, if you do want to get married, you want a girl that's closer to your status level, because, when they do come after you for alimony, that's the gap that the society will bring her up to your level. And if you go and date the Starbucks girl and you marry her and you're like the 6-figure guy, well, now you got to bring her up to the 6-figure status, and society will ensure that. So you have a much bigger gap that you have to pay. But if you date a girl that's a little closer to your economic status, you pay less. So it's about managing risk, So yeah, I would say a girl that doesn't hold a job or can't hold a job or just has like a really low income job, they're good for fun, but you probably don't want to do anything seriously long term with them, So that does make sense to me. The next one I have is just constantly negative, or they're just very pessimistic. Like, life sucks, everything sucks. No one wants to, like, and I said that earlier, no one wants to date a negative person. A woe is me. They will drag you down mentally, and then eventually they'll start bitching about you and everything sucks about you too. Like, just, man, that's a pretty simple red flag for me.
Yeah. No Debbie Downers.
No Debbie Down. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah. That's no fun. All right. What else do you have on your list?
All right, let's see. So that was actually my next one, was the career one. So I also talked about like how she talks about her friends and her family. Family one's an interesting one because some people do have toxic families. And that's one of those things where you can see, like, I can think right off the top of my head of certain girls that I got to know on deeper levels that did have some toxic elements of their family, and they handled it in a very productive way. They went to therapy, and they're able to speak about people in their family with a very like healthy kind of tone. But like, yeah, my dad was an alcoholic. My dad was a deadbeat. My dad was whatever. But you see them making good choices in life, dealing with it in a positive way. I think that can actually, if the work has been done, be better than someone that was brought up in the White House with a picket fence and was kind of sheltered from the elements. Because, if situations go bad and she's committed to you, she's got the strength to persevere in those kinds of things. But that's kind of one of those things that I think comes with experience, because like if you've not talked to a lot of women before and you've not gotten to know women and seen how they are in certain situations, you might not know what to look for in terms of when someone's talking about their family and there's some problems there. So that's kind of like a sneaky red flag. It's kind of like difficult to navigate. But yeah, that was one of the things. But definitely, if someone is, like you said, negative, they're talking about their friends and their family just in a constantly negative kind of a way without like mentioning any redeeming qualities. It's funny, I was thinking about this. We both mentioned that we were kind of describing our ex-wives, and like, I don't want to say like all negative things, because like I definitely contributed to my divorce in a lot of ways.
Sure. Yeah.
Not really going to talk about that right now, but I don't want to just seem like I'm dunking all the time. And I never dunk on her in any of the videos that I have. But the way that she talks about her friends and her family, I think is important. Like, if people can catch themselves, if they're going really negative on someone, and if they remember to keep things balanced, it's a huge sign of emotional maturity, which is very important in a relationship, especially if you have emotional maturity, that you're both at that kind of same level. Messy bathroom. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's
messy bathroom. Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to that sort of thing, because I have a have a commercial for my law of attraction course. And one of the things I talk about is like, a lot of guys out there just think that all these women have daddy issues and stuff like that. And I would say daddy issues are a major red flag. But Morgan, Morgan May.
Oh yeah.
She saw that commercial and she goes, you should change it to unresolved daddy issues.
Exactly. That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, and I agree with her. It's like lots of girls have daddy issues. Lots of us have family issues, right? Like one thing that I talk about a lot is my parents. My parents, I love them, and they live close. My mom is like manipulative as hell. My dad is super passive in the relationship, and I think I learned all my bad relationship habits from my dad. And but they're good people. And I've had to learn how to properly cope with that relationship and that dynamic. My mom is like just this uber nag. She calls me all the time. She refuses to text, so whenever she calls me, I usually come across as annoyed when I pick up the phone because I know it's not an emergency. But when people call me, I sort of expect it to be an emergency. Otherwise, just don't call me, text me, I don't like talking on the phone, but my mom, she's old school. She doesn't like texting. So I have to sort of, deal with that. But I also sort of have learned to nip it in the bud, hey mom, I'd love to talk to you more right now, but I gotta go. I've had to learn how to be more assertively, talk to people more assertively to sort of properly cope with their behavior like that, or just, spend a little less time with them, so I don't know. We all have family issues. You can't just immediately dismiss a chick because she has past family issues, because most people have family issues. It's kind of like, so what, but if it's unresolved, if she hasn't properly learned how to cope, that could be a big red flag, I would say. Yeah, I would agree with that. So I have here, my next one is excessive jealousy or possessiveness.
Ooh,
right?
That's a good one.
Yeah, because I would say, a little bit of jealousy is good. A little bit of dread game can help a relationship, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if she's like basically a Latina, just totally just goes overboard with the jealousy and stuff like that. That could be a problem, and a lot of women too
Mm-hmm.
they'll be super jealous, and that might even lead them to cheat because they just think that you're cheating and they'll justify it to themselves. They'll sort of project that onto them. Oh, what's that? Like they snoop through your phone, or what's that?
Yeah, that's the huge one for me. This was a conversation that I've had. If someone has to go through your phone, that's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
I know that if I went through my girlfriend's phone or if she went through my phone, we both wouldn't find anything. But if we had to go through each other's phone and not find anything to be able to trust the other person, that's a red flag. Because you don't want to be with someone where in order to trust them, you've got to be able to go through their phone. That's just exhausting.
Yeah.
If you feel like you can't trust someone to that level, then you're not ready for a relationship. That's my opinion. Every time that I've seen, because I've seen, perfect example, this one chick that I was seeing had a friend who was married, and they both were cheating on each other. And I would watch her friend, because I would go out with both of them, when she was going to go back home to her husband, delete the texts from, the guy that she was, the side guy that she had. And it's just so even if you're going through each other's phones, you can you're
probably not going to find
that
anything.
kind of stuff. And it's just, it's exhausting. Why would you want to do that? So yeah.
The way I look at there's guys in this space that will be like, go through your girl's phone. And if she won't give you the passcode to her phone, dump her right there and stuff. And I'm just like, man, if you feel like it's necessary to go through her phone, you got this aching suspicion that she's doing something, that's probably all you need to know right there. You don't need to go through her phone, There's other things to look out for maybe, but going through her phone, if she wanted to go through my phone, I would be like, what's going on? That's crazy to me. Let's see, what do we got here? We got some good stuff here. A lot of credit card debt, Nathan says. Yeah. I'm a Dave Ramsey guy, so hell yeah.
Right.
But then again, I also learned to that I'll never share finances with a woman again. after my divorce. It would never happen. Even if I moved in with a nurse chick eventually, which I don't foresee that happening like in the near term at all. Just because she has her own kids, and I just can't. I don't have enough space for all of her rugrats. You know, they're cute rugrats. You know, God bless them, but I don't have space. But I don't think she wants that anyway. But even if, like, you know, after they're all gone, if we're still together and we want to move in, like we'll have separate banking accounts. We'll have maybe a joint account for paying bills out of, but I'm charging her rent. You know, I'm going to pull an Aaron Clary method and be warned, nurse chick.
Uh-huh.
I have spoken.
And like also like what you said about you don't share financial stuff. That's huge. Like if there's any women that are watching, like a really good indicator that a guy has his financial shit together is he doesn't talk about it. A guy who's like always talking about his finances, especially if he's like, oh yeah, I'm doing really great, is probably not doing it nearly as great as he's trying to make it look like. And he's very insecure about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. This guy.
Ooh, medications.
You see that? Yeah, man. If she's on SSRIs, dude. Yeah, SSRIs will mess a girl up. You know, it really will. You know, a lot of that stuff just makes them not think clearly. They usually will come out of like a fog. You know, if they get off of them and stuff like that, find you unattractive all of a sudden. There's just there's a lot of problem with meds. You know, these days.
Yeah, I should have had that on my list. That is definitely one that's come up, and I've been, Klonopin. Okay, yeah, no.
What's that one? Is that an SSRI or?
Oh, that's one of the heavy duty ones. Yeah.
Oh, okay. She's just super sedated. Yeah. You know, it's funny too. Yeah, man. It's just so amazing to me how overly medicated just everybody is. You know, I was at the doctor's office yesterday. I had to get my annual allergy shot. And I was just sitting there thinking, because they have all these ads up for all these different medicines, you know, and I'm just like, dude, like, how can you trust anything doctors say nowadays? Because they're all on the take with with big pharma, and they're all just pushing all these drugs. It's really sad. That's for another episode, but
yeah.
Nurse chick says,
I totally get what you're saying. Like, yeah. It's also interesting how like with the human body, this is like a total side tangent, but like we know how to fix erectile dysfunction. We know just how much insulin someone needs to keep and regulate that, but we have no idea what's going on inside the head. It's like, oh, try this, see if it works. We'll up the dosage if you feel like you need more. It's just like, really?
Just try it out on my brain.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Nuke says disappears for a week or two and then comes back like nothing happened. Yeah. Women don't go without, guys. They don't go without. Let's just say that. Let's just say that right here. Did I do the last one?
I got one more.
Okay. So, this is kind of the same. We talked about this. I put a lack of trust or trustworthiness, frequent mood swings, or emotional instability. I guess that goes hand in hand with the SSRIs, right? Like she's got BPD or, you know, something like that. That's crazy. I went on a date with this gal one time, and man, she was cute too. You know, all these guys are like, oh, you got to date girls in their 20s and stuff. And this was a girl in her 20s. I think she's probably around 27 or whatever. Totally cute. And she seemed like she was really into me too. But two major red flags on that first date made me not call her again. One was, I guess one isn't necessarily a red flag. It's just a preference thing. But one was that she was taller than me. I was like, this ain't going to work. And then two, I'm a short king, guys. Just, you know, I'm 5'10" on a tall day. So, but this chick was like 6 feet tall, you know, and I was like, damn, there's some tall chicks out here. But the one thing that really made me like on my way home, because I went in for a kiss and everything like that. I was like, she's kind of cute and stuff. Went in for a kiss and she was very receptive. But then driving home, I was like, I can't do this. She told me that she was bipolar. And she's on her meds and everything's good. And, you know, and when she doesn't take her meds, you know, things are bad, but she's really good about taking her meds now. And, and I was just like, dude, the moment she stops, she starts forgetting to take her meds and stuff like that, she's just going to be a complete basket case. And I just don't want to deal with that nonsense. So I didn't call her back. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the frequent mood swings or emotional instability is, you just don't want to deal with that, you know?
It's crazy. Yeah, I got a story like that too. I went on 2 dates with this girl. Everything was like amazing. She was not a CEO, but she was basically like the equivalent of the CEO of a small company that was very local. And like she had all of her ducks in a row. Like she took me on a second date to see her office and like everything that was going on. And I was like, dang, like this is awesome, you know? And she had passions. She had her hands in a lot of different things. She was like a gymnast and did a whole bunch of stuff with that, like taught classes and stuff. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, I don't see anything. And then date 3 comes along. We go to this restaurant and like, she is a completely different person. Like, I'm like, what the heck? Like, who is this person? We sit down. Luckily, we hadn't ordered any food yet, but we're going back and forth. And she's like, when do you want kids? How many kids do you want? Are you going to be a responsible person? And like, just like everything in like this negative kind of a way. Like we talked about drinking coffee before. And then she's like, do you have like a caffeine addiction? Like just like 0 to 100 on like every little thing. And I was just kind of like
totally accusatory like that.
Yeah. I was like, let's go for a walk. And so like luckily we hadn't ordered anything yet. So we go for a walk outside the restaurant, like up and down the street, where I'm just like trying to figure out what's going on, like how I can salvage this. And then like after about 15 minutes of like walking around, I was like, maybe we should just call it, like, you know, and regroup later. And she's like, yeah, I think that would probably be a good idea. And like, that was that. But I was just like, whoa, like, man, sometimes, man, I don't know what the deal was there, or whether she had a bad day, but like, it was like 2 completely different people. Like you will run into that sometimes. It's crazy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Ted here says she has a history of being admitted into mental hospitals.
Oh,
she
yeah.
has suicide attempts. We're supposed to say unalive attempts. Man, I hope I don't get demonetized. We're probably okay. We're 46 minutes in. This guy, Ted says her ex died and she adds an unsolicited, I had nothing to do with it. Why do you feel like you have to offer that up? Yeah. If you guys are watching on TikTok right now and you want to join in on the conversation, head on over to YouTube. We'll actually bring your comments up on the screen here. Let's see here. Follows adult film actresses and looks up to female rappers. Yeah. I would see that. Oh, that reminds me, man. There's this new viral song right now, and it's like, what is it? I got this white boy on my roster. He feeds me lobster and pasta. So, have you heard that one?
I have not. No.
Okay, it's going viral right now, and it's all about how this rap star. I don't even know who sings it, but she says, "Got this white boy in my roster. He feeds me lobster and pasta." And like he thinks I'm fine as hell, and wants to give me Cash App or Zelle, and you know, all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I want to do a video about that because that is like a lot of chicks look up to that. They're like, yeah, I want to use a guy for his money and stuff like that, and keep these guys on the hook. And Morgan recommended a book called Hoe Tactics. Have you heard of Hoe Tactics?
I saw your TikTok where you were talking about that.
Yeah. So she talked about this book, Hoe Tactics. And I asked Nurse Chick to read it. Nurse Chick said she went like partway through it. She's like, I can't even with this book, man. It is so toxic. And it's all about, a lot of guys too, they have this covert contract idea that if a guy is flying girls out, a guy is paying all this money for this stuff like this, right? That he's getting laid. A lot of times those guys are not getting laid. These chicks are just using these guys for their money. And my friend Tyrene, she's my running partner. You know, we go running a lot. We've done some marathons together, stuff like that. She's a a female friend of mine. She's like that. She has guys that fly her to like, exotic locations all the time. She doesn't put out. She just had a guy local in town take her on a trip to Florida. And she's like, oh, thank you. And he was, trying to put the moves on her there, and she just wasn't having it. And he was, getting all mad because of the covert contract stuff. And it's like, but she was just like, she's happy. You go invite her to go to Florida. She's happy to go, happy to have you pay for all the dinners, happy for you to pay for the hotel and stuff like that. But they're not putting out. Like, don't lead with your wallet, guys.
There's an inverse relationship, I think, there. because I live in Florida and I've had certain women that I've met in other states come visit me for like a weekend in Florida. They don't live near the beach or anything tropical. So we go to the beach, we go do tropical things, we go do a lot of exciting things. They don't post about it on social media at all. Like I think if the girl is hooking up with a dude, she's not going to let anyone know. But if she's posting all about the trip and everything, then it's like, okay, then that was probably, she did it for the trip. She did it for the gram.
She did it for the gram. There's a picture I saw floating around on TikTok or not TikTok, on Instagram, of a guy who apparently flew this girl out somewhere and like, they went on this big trip and she was posting all the pictures on the gram, but like blurred out his face in every picture. Like
savage.
That is crazy. Instead of just like having him take pictures of her, that's what usually some of these Instagram girls do, right? Hey, can you take a picture of me for the gram? And it's just her like in exotic locations. It's like, who's paying for that? Who's paying for that?
Learn some game, bro.
Right. Whose turn is it? Is it your turn? My turn?
I got one more. Yeah. So the one last one for me, and this I think is huge, is like, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, something committed, something that could lead to something, I think it's really important for both of you to have specific passions and interests. Because like, if you go on a dating app and she puts that her interest is like hanging out with friends, that's like, everyone likes hanging out with friends. I have friends and I like hanging out with friends. You have friends and you like hanging out with friends, but like, you wouldn't put that as one of your interests. Like you'd put wrestling, you'd put what the things that you're into. I'd put music, right? You can see just from looking at both of our faces on this live, what we're both into. Yeah. And so like for women, a lot of them just don't have anything that they're really into or that they've really like decided that they like. And so like, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's like animals or whether it's like helping people, they volunteer at some sort of thing, if they're involved in the community in some way, something that they're doing that gives their life more of a purpose and a meaning is going to make them a much more interesting person to talk about. And like, you can go and appreciate what they're doing. They're going to come and appreciate what you're doing. It doesn't have to be the same thing, although it could be. But like one of the things that's just such a turn off for me is if it's just like, oh yeah, just like hanging out with my friends and, smoking and like whatever, like surface level things, but they haven't really found their passion. It's like, that's going to be a boring relationship at best. And, even if the sex is really good, it's like, you're going to need more than that. So yeah, that kind of like ties it all in. And it's also great because you have stuff that you can talk about.
Yeah.
My friend loves caring for animals and she knows so much. There's like this joke that we have. There's this funny TikTok kind of video about this guy that's on a game show and they have to identify birds. And whenever he gets a bird, it's always an exotic bird. But like the other people get a bird, it's like, oh, that's a pelican. Oh, that's a penguin. Oh, that's a flamingo. And he gets this one that was called a rosette spoonbill. And it comes up and she's like, oh, that's a rosette spoonbill. And I'm like, how do you know this? Like, that's supposed to be the butt of the joke, It's just like, she just knows everything about animals and how to take care of them and stuff like that. So like, that's really cool. Like, I'm not like a huge animal person, but it's like, I can really appreciate that about her. And it's like, really interesting. Just like I am with music. She's not musical, but I'll play a gig at a bar and she'll come and chill and send out requests and stuff like that, So that gives you stuff that you can do together and it makes the relationship way more interesting.
Yeah, I would say for something like that, if a gal doesn't necessarily have like a lot of extracurricular interests, a lot of times you like a woman, like if you can lead a woman into joining your lifestyle, and that's fine too. But yeah, I mean, there can be an extreme end to that, right? Like there was times when I was on dating apps and I would match with somebody. And, we get in the cover, talking about what we're up to at the moment or whatever. And it was like, sometimes there'd be these chicks being like, nothing, just sitting at home drinking beer,
Yes.
You're like, that's your life, huh? You're just sitting at home drinking a beer. Like, that's just immediately like, no, thank you. You're probably trailer trash. So let's see. Plumber says, men shouldn't be looking for an LTR. LTR happens when a woman wants it and works towards making that appealing to you. I agree with that. A lot of guys push for relationships for women, I would say that's a red flag, right?
That is a red flag.
A guy who's pushing for a relationship it's just unattractive. It's like their monkey brain can't deal with that. Like, all right, what is this guy not? He has no other options and stuff like that.
A good girl will prove to you why she's a good option for a relationship. She'll spell it out for you. You won't have to go pushing her.
Oh yeah. Nurse chick's like that. Nurse chick is awesome. All right, last one, and then we'll wrap up here. I put inability to take responsibility for their actions.
Yes.
Right? These women, we got to hold them accountable, guys.
Yes. Very good at figuring out why everything is someone else's fault.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, man, just anybody in general, right? Like that would be a red flag for a friendship if you were hanging out with a dude and they're just pointing fingers at why everything is someone else's fault. And that's a big problem with like the black pill and MGTOW community, I think, is they're just constantly pointing fingers at women, and they never look inward at like, well, what am I doing wrong? How can I, because you can't change other people. You can only change yourself. You know what I mean? And once you realize that, like, life gets better for you, accountability is kryptonite to women. That's why we got to hold them accountable. But yeah, I mean, just for me, like, that's just anybody in general. Like if you have zero sense of self accountability, you need to work on that, but women are notoriously bad about that, I would say. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of dudes are too, though. So
it's something that's a childish thing. And yeah, men and women can both be childish, but yeah, you want someone that has emotional maturity and knows how to own their shit, because like that, and that's part of like a huge part of red pill theory for people that are new to it, is like, own your shit. Realize that a lot of the reason why you're in the situation that you're in is because you made some bad choices, right? And so once you learn, hey, I need to go to the gym, I need to start leveling up, I need to start working on myself, guess what? You're going to want and need someone else who's on that level, who's working on themselves too. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, this has been fun, man. This is fun. We need to do this again. Where can people find you online?
Yeah, hit me on the Eric Explains at TikTok. And then I have a YouTube channel. It doesn't have any content on it, but I might be uploading some content to YouTube as well. And just kind of seeing what direction everything goes. And I like talking about dating advice. I like talking about dynamics and social intelligence and stuff like that, because it's something that, like most red pill people, I learned at a much later age than most people. I was a little bit behind. But then once I learned it, it's like, okay, I think I have a knack for explaining it to other people who are a little behind and don't get it, which is a lot of people. And so that's kind of what I've liked doing thus far.
Yeah, no, I really like your content. I was really disappointed when all of a sudden, actually, I think it was Benny Lichtenwalder hit me up, and he was like, dude, what happened to Eric's account? Did he get banned or something? And so that, like, we had reached out back when you're like, no, I'm just taking a break. Taking a break. Took my content down. We were both like, this sucks, because your content's very actionable, I would say. So
yes.
Guys, if you're not on TikTok, get on TikTok. It's actually it's not just, teenagers dancing. It's not, there's some of that, but what I love about the TikTok algorithm is that it's really good at figuring out what you like. And if you like this kind of content, it'll start showing you this kind of content all the time. It's not just, you won't just see teenagers doing stupid dances and stuff like that. I would say the second best alternative would be YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts is actually pretty good at showing you content you like as well. So Reels is trash. Reels shows me just the most random nonsense. So can you stick around a little bit after we wrap here?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. I'm going to put you backstage. And I'll close out the show, and then we'll chat here in a little bit. All
right, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Always great to come on and talk about whatever kind of topic you want, man.
The whamming. Yeah. All right, man. Yeah, I'll talk to you here in a second. All right. That's all we have for this episode, guys. Be sure to tune into Rule Zero tomorrow morning. Thor's hosting. We're going to be talking about all of the YouTube channels out there who are really piling on the red pill lately. It's been interesting to watch, so it'll be it'll be even more interesting to talk about. I was just on, I mentioned earlier at the show, at the beginning of the show, that I was just on Root Advice, the Root Advice podcast on Tuesday. And he hates the red pill. He hates red pill content creators. He does not like them. And then, man, after this most recent incident with MLD and Angela Knight, like he's just been on a tangent lately. So we talked about that, and he had this opening, for his show that was just really making like Rollo and MLD look bad. And so it's just interesting to watch right now. Rollo thinks that a lot of it has to do with the political cycle. So tune in for that. Tune in Monday. I have the legendary Troy Francis on. He's joining me to talk about how to push past approach anxiety. So if that's something that you're struggling with, you won't want to miss that one. Other than that, let's see. Do we have any other super chats here? Fun show. Yeah. Thanks for joining, Nuke. I don't see any other super chats, so we'll just go ahead and wrap up here. If you guys haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications. Thanks for everybody that sounded off in the live chat today. That makes these go by faster. It's fun. It's fun having the audience participation. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Thanks to Nathan for sending the super chat. Get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com. I'll send you some free stickers. I just sent an email blast out yesterday to everyone that's on the list, because sometimes MailChimp goes to people's spam folder. So reply to that if you haven't gotten your stickers yet, and just let me know a good mailing address, and I'll send you guys your stickers. If you like those stickers, they're available in the merch store as well. Coffee tastes better in these. You can get those at merch.comeonmanpod.com. Check out the Law of Attraction course, LOA.comeonmanpod.com. It's a mindset course. And once you get your mind right, everything else tends to fall into place. And then finally, join the Patreon, patreon.com/comeonmanpod. You can join for as little as $10. And I'm going to start hosting monthly meetups for guys. So, a lot of guys don't have a good group of solid male friends that they can come to with their issues. I'm going to start doing a meetup, a video meetup. So we could all get together, have some beers, have some energy drinks if you want, whatever. You can just come as you are, drink whatever you want. We'll talk about guy stuff. Doesn't necessarily have to be dating and relationships. We can talk about cars, movies, doesn't matter. Just a good place for dudes to hang out. So check that out. Patreon.com/comeonmanpod. And I think that's all. So we will see you guys tomorrow on Rule Zero.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.